Yeah.
So, I used to watch him and be like, that is so cool. And, I always had this inside my head. I'm like, it'd be so cool if I could do our style on TV or in the movies someday. I always wanted to do it. It was one of those things that I thought about, but I didn't know really how to go about it. And, the proximity to Hollywood, I'm in Southern California. So we're in that area, but that doesn't mean a whole lot to do it. So I got a few opportunities early in my career to do some like B movie stuff, like the early ninja movies and things like that. Because my dad, having been in the arts for a long time and being connected in the community, he helped a lot of people in the martial arts industry become movie stars, like Sho Kozugi, who was like if you, the '80s ninja craze. Yeah, that was one of my dad's friends, and he helped him get into the movies. Tadashi Yamashita was another guy who was a local martial arts lesson. My dad helped get into the movies. So through those opportunities, I got to be like small little bit parts and background fighters and things like that. And in Hollywood, there's this saying: it's not who you know, it's who knows you. Because the
Yeah.
people that are on a movie today, that may be the production assistant or the gopher, well, they're in the industry too, and all of a sudden they're going to move up the ladder and they're going to become a producer or writer or director. And over time, those people move up and they're like, oh, I remember working with that guy, he was nice. I remember working with that guy, he was nice. And they call you in for these projects. So that's kind of how my evolution of doing that started. And then where I got two of my biggest breaks were because of tournaments, martial arts tournaments. I was the number one competitor in the country for 4 years in a row, and I won this big tournament in Atlanta called the Battle of Atlanta. There were some producers from a TV show in the audience, and me and a couple other guys that won that night. They came up to us afterwards and said, "Hey, we're thinking about doing this martial arts based fighting show called WMAC Masters. Would you be interested in doing that?" We're like, "Yeah, we're interested in doing it. That'd be great." And then, of course, and we had heard stuff like that before in Producer Scout, but then you don't ever hear anything. About 4 or 5 months goes by and nothing happened. All of a sudden, one day our phone rang and they go, "We're going to shoot the pilot at Universal Studios in Florida. You ready to go?" And I'm like, "Yes, I'm ready to go. Let's do it."
And I used to watch that show too. That came on Fox on Saturday
Mm-hmm.
mornings. I
That's
used to
right.
watch that too.
Right
So
on.
it's funny. So it's funny because it was just a whole lot of people that was in the Mortal Kombat franchise, like the Liu Kang from the video game, you,
Mm-hmm.
the machine that was in the movie. So it was
Well,
just
listen, all
so
those, yeah, all the
yeah.
main characters, the first 5 or 6 of us, the main characters, we were all the top competitors in the country at that time. Like Hosung Pak was the number one Chinese stylist, Hakim was the number one fighter, I was the number one forms guy. So the producers of that show wanted to pull the best martial artists that they could find to make it look as legit and real as possible. They weren't looking for, actors. They wanted real martial artists to do it because it was a fighting based show and they needed people that were talented. Herb Perez was the Olympic gold medalist in Taekwondo. So they brought in all the top people.
Yeah, could you just explain how that worked? Because I know it was like a studio audience, so I know that most of the like filming was it like taping or
Yeah,
all of it
none,
was
none of it,
live?
none of it was live. The pilot, I think we
Okay.
did a studio audience, but it didn't really play out well and it was too difficult.
Hmm.
So they kind of did away with that. After they shot the pilot, they made some adjustments to it. And then the show is actually, first it was called Quest for the Dragon Star, and that name was too
Okay.
long. So they changed it after the pilot to WMC Masters, changed some of the formatting, and it became the show that it was.